I'll start off the podcast with that story. So it was early into my time into Eugene, and I had convinced my friends Ziggy and Michelle to come out here, and so they decided to spend the winter in Eugene with me, and we had our RVs parked next to each other.
Nice.
So we made some friends. They made some friends doing kickball, and we like to play spike ball. So we invited some of the kickball people out to play spike ball at there's a park behind one of the high schools here in town.
Yeah.
So we were trying to find a good place to play. There's like a soccer field where some kids have gone to go practice, so we had to move out of there. There was a baseball field where there was just goose shit all over the place.
Yeah.
Can't really throw yourself on the ground there.
No.
And then our buddy had parked his car in the parking lot without realizing that he had gotten his vehicle over a box that was on the ground right in the parking space. And so the box got caught under his front bumper cover. And as he backed out to leave, he had ripped the box and drug it along the floor of the parking lot.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what the hell is that? And so everybody gets out to look. Inside of the box was a trash bag full of shake.
Nice.
Probably 2 or 3 pounds of shake.
Wow. Score.
That might be a little bit of an overstatement, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
All torn up and spread across the ground. And so we were like, what the hell? In the parking lot of a high school.
Ooh.
So
Not great.
I mean, we didn't put it there.
Yeah. Swell.
I did pick out the best pieces though.
Yeah.
And then our buddy, he had actually come back. He's like, you guys are just going to leave this here? This is a ton of money you're leaving on the table. So he came back after everybody left, and he had a Ziploc bag in his backpack. Maybe even two.
Naturally.
Filled it up. And he had that weed. This happened a year and a half ago. Not last winter, but the winter before.
Nice.
A little bit before that.
Yeah.
And so he held on to that weed for a while. Him and his wife just moved out of the country.
Okay.
And during their going away party, he asked me, do you need weed?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need weed. But if you're going to give me weed, I'll take some weed.
Yeah.
And he runs out of the room. Brings me back this.
This is the story of parking lot weed. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't as nice of a container, but I added it to this jar. He goes, this is the same weed. It was a very nice moment. It's kind of like a token of our friendship. The shit is rough to smoke.
Yeah.
It's kind of harsh.
Yeah.
But it gets the job done.
Yeah, and
So that's on the table.
Cured. It's fully cured.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
There's a few stems in there, but you just pick those out.
Nice.
That's what we call old-fashioned.
Wow, that's very old-fashioned, very old school.
Did I cheers you and thank you for the beer already? Thank you for the beer.
Yeah, but I'm always down for good cheers. Yeah, thanks for setting it up.
Of course. My pleasure.
I'm a little hungry. So this beer is just hitting the spot. It's delicious.
I'll heat up some mozzarella sticks if you want.
Yeah.
If you want.
Just like normal old mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Like, are they breaded?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was picturing just like string cheese mozzarella sticks.
No.
Warm them up in the microwave so they're just nice and flaccid. Melted.
I'll toss them in the air fryer for you if you want.
I'd have a, yeah, thank you.
Do you want to smoke?
I would smoke that 4% doobie.
And we'll be back. Can we do it at the same time?
And
we'll be back.
I thought the iPad was recording us.
Oh, you want to turn it around? Just to
No.
get an extra beauty shot?
Yeah. I want all the angles.
No or yeah, dude. You changed your mind pretty quick on that one.
No, yeah. Yeah.
We're off to a great start.
We are. We're off to a really strong start. It's Friday, September 4th?
No, September 6th.
September 6th.
Wednesday is the 11th.
I felt really good about the 4th. I felt like it was a really good guess.
You would have been right 2 days ago.
Yeah. Nice.
You're just a little bit too late, but you are right in a sense.
Yeah, maybe it was last year. That was Wednesday, and it was September, or the 4th, or Friday.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Wait.
What day?
It's Friday today.
Today's Friday.
Yeah,
Friday.
not Wednesday.
So the 4th is Wednesday. So you're right.
Well, it's just because you said that.
And we're back.
We are back. I've got exciting news coming from over in South East Eugene.
What do they say down there?
I'm gonna get a haircut this coming week.
What's his name?
Brandon.
Nice.
Yep, met him shooting hoops. He's in barber school at IBS.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Pardon the interruption, y'all. Laz whipped me up to share an important bit of information here with you. The thing is, the audio on this here podcast is acting all cattywampus. He's gonna start using the backup audio recorded on the camera, so he apologizes about the inconvenience. We hope y'all still enjoy this episode of The Boys Ramblin' On.
International Beauty School. It's not the greatest.
Gotcha.
Acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
I feel like it keeps it interesting.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very bold move, or maybe it predates IBS.
What? Probably. What do you think of our podcast? Technically, it's UO, undereducated, overstimulated. That's just 2 words. But I like saying UEOS.
UEOS?
Undereducated, overstimulated. I kind of like breaking it up. Just UO. First of all, I feel like in the city that we're in, we just can't have that acronym. It's taken.
Yeah, it could work pretty well, though.
If we just make all of our brandings University of Oregon, and then neither of us watch any of their shit.
Wait, isn't ours UO, not OU? Are they OU?
No, Corvallis is U of O.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, ours is OU. So I'm thinking Corvallis. Or I just have it
The
backwards.
Beavers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're safe.
Yeah.
It's OU, kind of. Technically. UO
Well,
Maybe.
undereducated is one word.
is one word, dude. And
My
overstimulated
God, that
is
is-
another word.
Wow, those are long words.
They are. That's why I feel like we're going to suffer, is our name is just so hard to type out.
Yeah. Luckily, well, I feel like people are pretty good at typing. I've seen a lot of people type recently.
They could talk into their phone. That's an option these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they get the new Google Chat GPT integration, whatever you're just talking about,
Yeah.
you can just shout out your phone.
You
You have
know,
a good video.
well, something that people do sometimes on their YouTube videos, they'll say, and sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's on purpose, but they'll say, "Hey Siri, do XYZ" or something, and it'll actually happen in people's cell phones. Or if they say,
Yeah.
"Hey Alexa, do this," people's smart devices will do the thing. And so my buddy was telling me, dude, you're gonna find this crazy.
Yeah.
My buddy was telling me that there are live streamers. You know, a live streamer is someone who streams video live.
Yeah, I want to do that.
It would be fun, right?
Yeah.
So there's this live streamer that he does something or other. I can't remember what it's called. Basically, people in the chat have the ability to donate a certain amount of money, or I guess pay a certain amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
and their comment in the chat that's tagged to the money will be read out loud by an app on his phone that has a synthetic voice. And so people,
Wow.
the one clip I saw, I actually wanted to see more of this. It seemed kind of fucked up, but also funny.
Yeah.
The guy had his phone in a Target cart in the little top basket, and so you could see him checking out, buying all his stuff at Target, and then somebody pays $10 or whatever, and their message gets read aloud, and it says, "Download complete, young Asian boys," and it's like the cashier was a young Asian boy, and so they made it seem like he was downloading porn about the cashier or whatever. And he runs out of there all embarrassed. The whole thing, people do it so that the streamer gets embarrassed, and that's what the people get off on. in the chat.
Oh, interesting.
So apparently, somebody had the idea while the guy was sleeping and he was live streaming
Uh-huh.
to say, "Hey Google, read my address out loud." and Google reads his address of the actual guy, and so
Oh,
you
shit.
get into this point where it can be a safety concern.
Live streaming
with
chat.
those things, and
Yeah.
that's a recipe for disaster, for sure.
Yeah. What if this whole AI ChatGPT system is just ends up being super gullible, and it's just we can't fix that, and it ends up being the whole flaw with it. Like it just wants to believe everything.
I feel like it's already not.
Yeah, but like if you already ask it like, hey, what's this dude's say this guy's address?
Yeah,
and it's like okay,
true.
or maybe not gullible, maybe trickable, or some other word.
So technically, I guess where the line begins and ends with this is kind of open to interpretation. But apparently, that's not really AI. Those Google Homes, what they are is, I mean, every computer AI is just a more complex version of this. But instead of you going in your phone and turning on the setting that says, I want to put my alarm clock for this, or like, I want to go look at my phone setting and see my phone number or my address. Instead of doing that manually, one of those devices just basically allows you to speak your desire. And so it's basically the same as pressing the buttons, just with your voice. Whereas AI is something on that level, but maybe 1,000 or 10,000 times more complex. Because that, in a sense, actually thinks. And we don't know how that gives us the response every time it does.
Oh,
I'm not doing this thing justice. The level.
that was a pretty good description, actually.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that really made some things click for me.
We don't fully understand how an AI will make its next choice. The thing that people say is that basically it's guessing what the next right thing to say is using a ton of context.
I feel like that's kind of what I do.
There's the argument. There's the argument. And I know we kind of ended the last episode talking about AI, funny enough.
Really?
Or robots and like that. We might be organic machinery.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're kind of starting with that again. We could be basically the same processes. And that's where I start to wonder. People are like, oh, the thing's not alive, it doesn't have feelings, whatever, this, that, or the other. I don't know. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it does not right now. But if it kind of works in a similar way that we do, how can we say that it doesn't have some sort of subjective experience?
Yeah.
But I think people are it's just humans. Humans are the only thing that are intelligent enough to ever do anything. Everything else is just fake.
Yeah.
But isn't that like I was here first, dibs on consciousness?
Yeah, totally.
Dibs on intelligence, nobody else could be smart anymore.
Yeah. No, I feel that quite a bit. I was actually thinking a little bit about, I feel like as a race, as humans, as like the shepherds of this earth here, we're a little behind. Like I think the idea is to like grow and do good and like expand from our earth and like then make the space and galaxy beyond us more abundant instead of less abundant. And like we're currently, I feel like we're making it less abundant, and like we should be more we should be doing better, basically. Like
where do you get your timetable?
Why
do you feel like we're behind?
Well, I don't know if we're necessarily behind on like a galactic level, but maybe our solar system is just growing and it's still young, you know. But it seems like, well, maybe it's also just in a bit of a regression on its way upwards to growth.
Yeah, because not everything expands or grows in a straight line.
Yeah.
That's true.
I actually kind of feel that a little bit right now with life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a lull.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Particularly my handstands. Freaking cannot hit them anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Like I was struggling pushing up into them, and like the other day, I was like just able to finally push up into them in balance.
Yeah, I feel like 2 weeks ago, basically, you said that you were able to do a handstand.
Yeah.
Or was it longer ago than that? And you've been able to do them for a while, but you kind of lost it?
Yeah, I'm kind of losing it a little bit this past week, it feels like.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I know that's not a small thing.
No, it's not. It's a big deal.
I feel for you, dude. I feel for you.
Yeah, I think it might be the basketball, because like I'm playing a lot of basketball recently.
Oh, yep.
And handstands and like calisthenics like totally screw up your shot in basketball.
And so,
Like,
have you been practicing your shot outside of playing games?
no, but I've been playing a lot of games. And like, yeah, it's hard. Basketball is a tricky sport because like it doesn't like cycling and basketball don't necessarily mix super good. Calisthenics, basketball don't mix super good.
Which that surprises me, but I guess you need strength in that sense.
Yeah, like with the calisthenics, it feels like in a way the muscle is like being activated in a very different fashion and for like balance and stability.
Mm-hmm.
Where in basketball is a lot of speed and movement and fluidity.
True. You're exercising a lot of different smaller muscle groups when you're doing calisthenics.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, I mean, you use them, but really, you're talking about like the distance of your shot. You're talking about your
accuracy, distance, accuracy mainly.
Yeah. That's more video games, dude.
Making my
Video
accuracy
games,
go down.
No, will improve it.
Oh, I should play more video games.
I guarantee you play less basketball, more video games, your shot will be better.
Huh. All right.
Do it for science.
Yeah, for science. Here we go.
Dude, you never responded to my message asking about
Which message?
if it would be interesting to make a video on how cheaply can you eat for a week, or how little money can you spend to actually feed yourself and feed yourself well. You know, I'm not saying take any shortcuts. Well, do a cheat code where I just eat once a day, and so obviously the price is way lower.
Yeah.
2 to 3 meals a day, a snack, and they can't just be bad. They can't be unpleasant meals, and they have to get all your macronutrients. And then see
What are those? All the macronutrients?
fats, proteins, and carbs.
Okay. So like butter and oatmeal.
Yeah, all food is made up of those 3 macronutrients. Maybe there's a 4th one I'm unaware of, but those are the 3. And so anything sugar is carbohydrates. Meats, and in dairy there's also protein, but there's more fat in dairy. They say you need all 3 of them to survive. Keto is the whole thing of like minimizing or reducing your carbohydrate intake. And then some people just do carnivore. Have you seen that shit?
I have. I actually have known a few carnivores.
And how long have they done it?
Oh, well, this one kid, I guess, when I knew him, he'd been a carnivore more or less his whole life.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was just like, I just don't think he would eat anything else. And his mom was like, okay, I guess he's just a carnivore. And he just said, no, like, I'm not. Like,
Just meat?
Yeah, just meat.
Wow.
And I was over for Thanksgiving once and had a ton of turkey. That's it. I was like, damn. The potatoes, the gravy, like there's so much.
You were at his house for Thanksgiving?
He was at our house.
So he's at Where Willis?
No.
No?
Sorry, whatever his name is. Not Where Willis, no.
It's a small club.
Kinda, yeah.
Big pack though.
Well, there's a lot of people would come through the Willis's house just because there's so many of us.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was a very open, welcoming place to whomever. But yeah, this random family was not necessarily maybe random to some of my older siblings, but kind of random to me. So, yeah, he's a carnivore.
Good for him. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, me too. He might be doing really good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did the keto thing for a very short time and then felt very silly. I also realized I wasn't doing it like a way you're probably supposed to be doing it, because I would just eat the meat and the bacon. It's chilling. When really you do need to be getting a lot of vegetables too.
Yeah.
So regardless, I think right now the idea is going to Winco, getting rice, beans, eggs, some veggies, seeing how cheap can you feed yourself, still give yourself a good diet.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
I would probably get something like some like raspberry preserve, like a big jar of raspberry preserve, and like sardines. Just
You
eat
know
those two, yeah. No, I only kid. Maybe sardines would be involved. Those are kind of expensive, I feel like.
Yeah, tuna's cheaper,
Yeah.
and it still gets you. What, dude? Tuna's cheap. You get your essential fatty oils, and then protein.
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't know what protein was until.
No, I know what protein was, but you said some like
Macronutrients.
macronutrients.
Yeah, and then
'Cause, like-
macronutrients like all the vitamins, the minerals that you need.
Well, those are micronutrients.
Micro,
Yeah.
big, little.
Yeah. I'm really familiar with them with plants, you know, like NPK
Oh.
and the macronutrients and the micronutrients. I guess just to know we only had so few macronutrients. I thought we'd be a little bit more complex than a plant, but
I wish I could tell you more, but I
yeah,
really don't know.
maybe we're not.
I would say something along the lines of, put something right here, but we got to save those, dude.
For the amount of those we can do.
For the amount of those we could do.
Yeah.
I think we should have a quota, but we should also have a limit at the same time. Because they are fun.
These?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
What if we could do like a little sports trivia, and I can ask you questions that you probably definitely don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up on my phone, or maybe we could both guess the answer.
All right. What if we say a trivia question that we at least think we know the answer to?
Yeah.
It may not be right, but at least we're pretty confident that we know it.
All right. Like something like, what's the capital of Arkansas?
What is Little Rock?
Bingo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
What year was Star Wars released?
What is 1971?
1973, I'm pretty sure. That was a pretty good guess.
Shucks, that's pretty good.
Pretty good guess.
Dang. So like, would that be like 200 points? Or
100
dollars?
each.
100 each?
Is that what you're saying? For both getting it right?
Well, you got yours correct like fully, so I feel like you got like probably 500 points.
Oh, that's true. I thought you got it right. I just gave it to you.
I got mine like nearly right.
200? Okay. So 500, 200?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
That seems pretty fair.
It's on you now. Are we trying to stump each other?
Well, I guess, I mean, you knew I was going to be stumped with the Star Wars one.
I was just sitting on it. As soon as you said trivia, I'm like, I know what I could ask.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm real bad with trivia.
Yeah, I'm surprised you brought it up. You'd almost think I was pushing this.
Yeah. It's, I suggested sports trivia. I'm a little better at that.
Yeah. Let's go. Give me a question.
So, what was the one team that star wide receiver Calvin Johnson played for, and never won a Super Bowl with, and never went to the playoffs with? But he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver for this team.
I'm going to go with the Browns.
That's a really good guess. It's
Wow.
actually quite a good guess, but no, it was the Detroit Lions.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Detroit. What was his name?
Calvin Johnson,
Calvin Johnson.
also known as Megatron.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When was he active?
Probably like 2005 or 2007 to 2018 or 19.
So he's a little bit more modern, huh?
Yeah, yep.
Good for him.
Yeah, he was great.
It's too bad for him, actually. I'm sorry he never made it to the playoffs or the finals.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was fine though, because like
playoffs, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, playoffs,
Playing football.
playoffs, then Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lions are kind of awful for a long time. So
Okay, so then here's my question to you.
What you got?
I've already forgotten it. I should have used the totem. I should have used the fucking totem.
Oh, the remembering totem. I like to try to incorporate. This is way off track.
Go for it.
I was gonna say scrotum into as many words as I can, kind of like in a somewhat natural sounding way, like scrotmeal instead of oatmeal.
Oh, why is that?
Because I thought it was funny.
Scroyota Camry?
Yeah, exactly. Miniscrota.
Have you heard people call other people scro
Scro, no.
instead of bro?
No, are they doing that?
I've heard it on some media.
Huh.
And I think it's one of those that it's almost like saying bro, but it's also partially disrespectful. Like you don't do it to someone you necessarily like. That's the vibe that I got. From that.
Like hey scrotum.
That is what scro is short for.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I try to teach my nephews when they're young to ask their mom for, instead of oatmeal for breakfast, to ask for scrotmeal. And they did it. They thought it was hilarious.
What did their mom say?
Their mom wasn't super stoked. She was like, dude,
Yeah.
don't teach that to my kids.
Oh, where do they live in? Scrohio?
No, they're local.
Scrocal?
Scrote jeans.
Scrofield?
Scrofield. Scorgan.
Scarecrow? Do you put them out in the yard for, I think, fall?
To keep away.
Scrows?
The scrows.
Yo, the scrows. Good setup. I think I actually have a video to show you that I'm going to cut into this. I saw it on our way up to, we stayed in beautiful Washington, Gold Bar, Washington this past weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, beautiful area, right near Windex, right near Index. And we were... Index, Washington. And we were about an hour away from Leavenworth, the Bavarian village.
Oh, I've always wanted to go there.
It's pretty sick. It's nice. I feel like every time we go there, my buddy Josh and I, we get into hijinks. It ends up becoming a pretty rowdy night. Not really we do anything crazy, but we egg each other on very much. And the staff probably think that we are very annoying. But we have fun.
Yeah, that's good. Last night, I was pretty adventurous. I ate chicken tartare.
Ooh. I don't even know quite what that is.
Well, you know, tartare is like, we second on the beer.
Yeah.
Thanks. Tartare is like, raw meat, raw beef, raw bison, served at fancy restaurants or something.
Chicken tartare?
Yeah, and you're not supposed to eat chicken raw, but you know, a good friend used to be vegetarian, but is now eating chicken, and so he was trying to cook his chicken last night, and it was not
Unintentional chicken tartare?
Yeah.
Makes a lot more sense, dude. That's too bad. You spit it out or you eat it?
I ate one big mouthful of it, and then I was like, I don't think this is cooked all the way.
And it didn't hit you?
No, I mean, we drank a decent bit of vodka afterwards to kill it.
And that worked, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Which was, it ended up being a pretty fun little night, but...
It's getting two birds stoned, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, chicken. Raw chicken.
Damn.
Yep.
Alright, check it. Here we see some hay bales for use at home. Hay bales. These smaller hay bales are perfect for decorating.
Oh my god, that's
This
great.
is exactly what we need to make our merch.
For doing anything else you might do with hay bales, right, Avery?
Doing anything you might do with hay bales. What would you do with hay bales that small?
Those are, like, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Those are decorative porch hay bales, you know, like the people will get their pumpkins set up on their porch for Halloween and they'll put a few little hay bales.
Yeah. Is there anything else you could think of?
Those are honestly some of the lamest hay bales. They're plastic wrapped. It's like, well, it's straw, first of all. It's not even hay.
It's not hay.
No.
Oh, straw bales.
Yeah.
Napkin right there. Excuse us for a moment. We're having technical difficulties. You got something to show me?
No.
A re-report?
No, this isn't a re-report. This is just me kind of checking in on my fantasy score.
Oh.
It looks like the Packers and the Eagles are playing right now. 6 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Eagles have the ball, and they're winning, which is not ideal for Packers fans.
And if you're watching this right now, you already knew this.
What?
Actually, they know how the game ends.
Who does? These people? Oh, yeah, true.
I guess you already
that's okay.
Your lineup's already set up. Can't swap anyone. So
Yeah.
I think regardless, even if they came back in time and gave you some advice right now, wouldn't be helpful.
Yep. They are playing this game in Brazil. Oh, but you have the talking totem.
Scrotum.
Activated.
Here's my question. Oh, dude, I had it. And I'll pick you back up again, dude.
What? Let's see. We can get to the bottom of this. What was it related to? Was it related to fruit?
It was related to whatever we were talking about just before we stopped.
This is my kind of mystery. I like this. We gotta get to the bottom of it.
Fans, comment out what you think that I thought.
Well, they might have better memories than us.
They might actually remember what I was thinking.
Yeah, and if they're still watching, they would have already watched what we thought and try to share, right?
Sure.
You know. But before I dumped beer on my shirt and had to go get my backup shirt out of my car.
I think it was in the car.
Yep. We were talking about.
Last thing I remember is scrub.
Scrub. We were talking a lot about scrub.
We were talking a lot about scrub, but did we move on to something else?
I think we tried to, maybe.
Dude, this thing is off the rails.
Yeah,
yet again.
It is. I was just thinking about if somebody actually watches this episode and is still watching at this point.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Hay bales.
Hay bales.
Straw.
Yes. There it is. Do you have your totem?
No. I'll let you know. I think you were saying that those hay bales are lame because they're wrapped in plastic and they're not even hay, they're straw.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
So straw is just like if you grow a whole bunch of oats, and the combine comes through and it picks off all the grain, it leaves behind straw, and then you cut that into bale. So straw is like just stems.
Gotcha.
Of and it's usually a lot lighter weight. Mm-hmm. When it comes to stacking it, being a lot lighter weight makes it a lot nicer for stacking.
For sure.
It's not as solid though, so like if you're trying to make a cool hay bale stack to like swing off of, using hay bales is much preferable than straw.
And so what do people use straw for? Is that also feed?
It can be. It doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. It's kind of like iceberg lettuce for cows.
Gotcha. It's a nice salad.
Yeah. But hay is like the whole plant, and there's like lots of different styles of hay. There's alfalfa hay, which is like real rich.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit's great.
Well, it's not. It's kind of too much.
You heard about all the alfalfa farms in California and how they're taking up all the water?
No.
I was actually learning. Very great YouTube channel. I'll plug them down in the description below. It's called Climate Town. Normally, you can't get me to give a fuck about climate change because anything else in this world, I feel very powerless to change things. And also, there's just so much in our life that is designed to be throwaway. It's very difficult to kind of make a positive impact in that space. At least it feels like that most of the time.
In the climate change space?
Yeah, it's so convenient to just kind of pile on to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also set up to do it. That's basically what consumerism is. It's kind of wild to me that we take out the trash like once or twice in a week. Some people a lot more.
Yeah.
And to me, I fill up a bag of those. How many do I fill them up a year? And just kind of stays in a place, you know?
Yeah.
Wild to think about. Whole reason I bring it up, not a big fan of talking about it. I feel like someone's going to figure it out eventually. So people are going to make more changes towards positive ways of living that culturally we're all going to get behind, because we all realize like maybe we're not doing things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm being very optimistic here.
Mm-hmm.
Which I also thought of another segment of doing a pessimist optimist test on the show to see if we're really pessimists or optimists or what.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Climate Town is the name of the YouTube channel that I enjoy.
Oh yeah.
The guy has a climate science degree and he's very good sense of humor. Yuma, as they say in New York.
Yuma.
Yeah, he got a good sense of humor. So this guy will talk about whatever topics at length. His most recent video was about an hour and 10 minutes. And he was talking about water rights in California and how there's no fucking water in California.
Yeah.
And the whole thing boils down to when California was first settled, after a little while, people divvied up the water rights to that area. And
Yeah.
the Colorado River was gushing for this particular number of years when they were drawing up the water rights. So they were of the mindset like, oh, water's abundant around here. But it was also kind of they kept saying in the video, it was like a dibs system where they come in and people were like, well, I get all this land and I get, 50 million gallons of water or whatever it is. And so all of the water in the Colorado River was divvied up to the different landowners in that area.
Yeah.
And that's still the law that California uses when divvying up the water rights. So they also have a law where if you don't use all of that water, you don't get the leftover, like rolled over, or you don't get to keep it. So let's say you get 50 million gallons and you only use 40 million this year. Next year, you only are allowed to get 40 million. And so they have an
that's
incentive.
weird.
Yeah, this is how budgets work in the government too. That's why a lot of institutions will buy shit that they don't need and throw away perfectly good stuff, because if you don't use the budget, then you don't get that money back next year.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, you can operate with less, you don't need as much. Long story short, these farmers are incentivized to use as much water as they can use. They can't sell the water to anybody else. That's another thing. Legally, they're not allowed to sell those water rights.
Huh.
So literally, they're like, just gotta fucking use this or else I'm literally throwing money away. And so they start growing alfalfa in California, which is one of the most water-intensive crops that you can grow. It's perfect for California because it requires, it'll grow all year long. And so you get, do you know how many harvests? Like 6 or 7 harvests a year?
I don't know, but yeah.
You can get 6 or 7 harvests a year. Since California is perpetual sun, essentially,
Yeah.
they're able to grow it year round. And they have all that water that they're getting in, so they're able to do it. But in reality, what it boils down to is there's less water downstream until a bunch of people are rationing a bunch of water in the cities. Are like, hey, actually make your shower shorter. Turn off the faucet whenever you're not using it. Which is probably good practice, but they're like, oh, everybody's using too much water. And the guy doing the video was saying, he's like, even if everybody in the city rationed X number of gallons in a year, it still wouldn't equal what like one of these farms uses. Like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those of we probably shouldn't be growing alfalfa in a fucking desert because it requires so much water. But the laws are so old and they are entrenched.
Yeah.
There's really, that's their incentive, is not to change anything.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a bonehead move, that law. It's like, oh, that's very dated. Oh, change it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But I guess it kind of forces production out of the farmer and people. The farmer's like, well, I kind of have to produce something. Use this.
I think probably a smarter thing would be to allow them to sell the water rights now,
Oh,
because then you probably have a bunch of smaller farms. You know,
Yeah.
anybody can grow crops that they like instead of being like, well, I need all of this water, or I need to use all of this water. Sorry. You
yeah,
can grow crops that are probably more appropriate to the climate.
yeah. I actually do think small farms are like the solution to a lot of problems. More small farms, less big conglomerate farms. I think it will solve food issues. I think it would solve health issues. I think it would solve a lot of like mental health issues also. Because like
Having more people farm.
yeah, because like it's good for the soul. It's really very very rewarding work, but there's no incentive to do it because it's a hard living. But like if small farms were like properly subsidized by the government instead of factory farms being subsidized by the government, like you could just small farm and like have a wonderful, pretty easygoing life, and you wouldn't have to work in a cubicle or do the corporate dance, you know.
What if we did? Because I hear what you're saying, and I think in an ideal world, that's how it would be.
Yeah.
But I also think when we have, not you and I, but when I've had conversations like this, is we got here somehow, right? And it all started as small farms. And then eventually they just got absorbed by bigger farms. You know, some people just wanted to keep growing their operation,
Yeah.
just like any other business. And so maybe what if we make a solution to some of those problems is that people do summer camp for farms, do fall camps. And so during the fall, you can, if you'd like, go to a farm. I guess you can. The wolf, it does exist.
Yeah, well, no, I think the issue is the fact that the large farms are subsidized by the government. So like if you have a crop failure, they'll just give you money.
Yeah.
Or if like, you know, like kind of it's similar. It's kind of like this water rights thing you're talking about in California. Like these big government or these big farms, if they want to be subsidized, they have to plant so many seeds.
Yeah. Well, they
And
lobbied
do
for
all
that, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the small people need good lobbyers to then lobby for us to get subsidized.
they can't afford them.
I know it's tricky.
That's kind of like the idea behind a union.
Yeah.
So I come from a union background, and as much as I think the idea and the cause can help, the corporations, the companies that hire us out, they work together. You know, they have their own union. It's the
Union of Corporations.
I already forget what they're called. Fucking my uncle would kill me if he heard this, but NECA, National Electrical Contractors Association. So electrical contractors have made their own association where they join forces to dispute whatever, or to kind of negotiate with whatever the union wants.
Oh.
And so the union also has lost a lot of its foothold just because corporations are still able to outmaneuver the union because they are more cutthroat, they're more agile, they have to please less people. They just have like a profit motive, you know, rather than having to please their membership.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that, like, even because I've had the conversation with people where they're like, what if we just redistribute wealth? It's like it'll be a short amount of time before the hustlers and the people who know how to make money, you know, make more money than other people.
Yeah.
And
I think that's true.
I think it's kind of that case in every instance. At some point, farms got big enough to lobby for shit and change the laws to favor them. And then I say, even if we do go back to that first, it's like, wouldn't they just do the same thing again over generations?
Yeah. Do you think big farms back in the day, back in say like the 50s, do you think they were the ones lobbying to get subsidized?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, so when you start looking at American history, a lot, like dairy farms were huge during World War II, or it might have been World War I. and they lobbied the government essentially for subsidies. I watched another documentary about dairy farms in particular, and the government guaranteed them all of these subsidies it was basically that they would buy all of the excess product that they made. And so dairy farmers, they were like, well, we don't need to necessarily tie our dairy production to the market anymore. As long as we make dairy, the American government will buy it.
Yeah.
And it was that lobbying that it was a coalition of big farms that they were able to get politicians to see their side of the story and, grease a few
dude.
It's wild, but that's part of the reason why, like, drinking milk, it became a patriotic, like, American thing. They would send milk to soldiers, and they'd have, like, them in advertisements, like, drink your milk, and you're helping the war effort. I think it might have been World War I. Could have been World War II. And then they had an excess of dried powdered cheese that they used in soldiers', mess kits, their meals. Mess kits, meals. And once the war was over, this had to have been World War I, because it's this old. This dude had found a surplus of that dried powdered cheese, and these farmers that started making this new product out of, like, byproducts of corn. And they were able to make corn puffs, and it didn't taste like shit. No real nutritional value, but this guy decided to combine the two because he just happened to buy a cheap source of this powdered cheese left over government rations. He made Cheetos.
No way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a Frito-Lay company. So that's why I know that the farmers were lobbying even back then.
Yeah.
The early 1900s.
Yeah. Have you seen Boardwalk Empire?
No, dude. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Was it good?
I think it was good. And I think it's the best and most accurate description of American history, really. From, like, 2000 or 1930s and 40s or whenever Prohibition was. But it just really points out what lobbyists and our government are, and, like, a lot of these lobbyists aren't just whatever.
What do you mean? They're not what?
They're not just, like, people working. They're, like, they have lots of different motives and work for different companies and corporations. And it's just, like, so incredibly corrupt. It just has been for so long.
These consulting groups like McKinsey and stuff. You're familiar with them?
No.
So think tanks, consulting groups, they started with businesses, and I don't know the particulars, but the gist of it is they start coming in saying, we're going to help with XYZ problem that you have. Mm-hmm. And so they'll help them with a problem, but a lot of times, after they grew in power, they started to basically find ways to entrench themselves into any organization that they started to help. So they would get people that were essentially loyal to them hired, or they would lobby whatever the offices or business was that they were with to basically, like, continue finding reasons to employ these think tanks, these consultants. And then they started consulting for city governments, and then eventually state governments, and now the federal government. Like, they call them think tanks. But they're consulting firms, and they consult on policy. And, dude, politicians get a stack of paper this thick with, like, the type 10 size font. They're not reading through it. They're relying on people to tell them what the law is. And most of the times, the people telling them what the laws say and mean are not even government officials. They're these consultant groups. And so they kind of are able to do whatever they want in the government because politicians know that if they play ball, they'll have a job with these consulting groups, which make a shit ton of money.
Interesting.
Very corrupt racket we've got going on here, and it is kind of disheartening when you think about it, because what can I do about it?
Yeah, it is a little disheartening. You want to change. Who was it? What was it? Obama that said. Was his slogan something about change?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then hope, I feel like, was thrown around too.
Yeah.
Are you thinking make America great again?
No, that's old. yeah. That's Trumpelstiltskin. Geezer.
Yeah, man. Politics could be, and maybe not politics. I don't know if that's what you call politics, but that could be a deep dive of the topic.
Politics?
Politics.
Yeah.
The workings of the American government.
That would be interesting because I don't know much about politics. But it would be kind of interesting for the sake of this podcast and, then for the sake of myself to learn and grow, to do a little deep dive on politics. I feel like it's going to be a lot of reading.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe...
I can just tell you what I hear.
Yeah, hey!
You don't have to fact check me.
I'm down.
Okay. So, I remember I was talking to Kaylee one time and I was going on this long rant and I mentioned this line. I'm like, it's basically how the military-industrial complex uses the government to steal our money. And I continue talking, whatever. She's like, hold on, dude. What did you... I don't know anything about what you just said.
Yeah.
And so when I realized I had to explain the whole thing, I had this moment where I kind of paused and I started to visualize this whole complex network of like quid pro quo that I was about to explain. And I got giddy at the fact that like I was about to explain all of this. I was like, what's the best way to start unraveling this web for someone?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. You want to hear about it?
Lay it on me.
I'm going to try and summarize this as quickly as possible. The government got into World War I and needed this ability to manufacture arms. And it could have been earlier than World War I. It might have been another war, but I'm just going to say it's World War I. Because in my mind, only 2 wars have ever happened in the history of the world. World War I and World War II.
All right.
So they needed this capacity to make munitions and tanks and like all of these armaments that there just wasn't really infrastructure for.
Yeah.
And so a bunch of metallurgy shops that were doing all different kinds of things had to retool and start making weapons. Sweet. War ends, and they're like, yeah, but we're making a shit ton of money fucking selling weapons and stuff. So they decide that they need to keep selling weapons. And how do you do that? It's like there needs to be a conflict in order to sell weapons. And so they take to lobbying politicians. Whenever there's some kind of slight provocation for war or something that couldn't be interpreted as a way for us to get involved, they're like, well, we should really do something about it for the sake of democracy and protecting our freedoms and this, that, and the other. So why don't we get involved? And sometimes it's just sending aid, money, to these other countries, who then use that money to buy weapons from us.
Yeah.
And that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
And in a sense, we're like, okay, so if the government is building this huge army, in and of itself, it is buying a bunch of weapons. Or even if they're sending aid to other countries, that those countries are also buying weapons with some of that aid. Where are those weapons coming from? Private companies.
Yeah.
In the United States, mostly.
Yeah.
And so you have these people who are making a profit off of war, lobbying for more war, or at least to encourage wars in other places, because if not, who are they going to sell all their shit to?
Yeah.
And so this government doesn't just make the money come out of nowhere. It's like they tax us. And in some cases, they actually do make the money come out of nowhere. And we can talk about the Federal Reserve too, but they tax us.
Yeah. Yeah.
To then pay for these things that they're being told, these conflicts that they're being told to continue to wage by these companies who then get paid with that money that they took from us.
Yeah, that's
and so in a
fun.
sense, that's like legalized stealing through forcing other people to die somewhere.
Yeah, it's incredibly fucked up.
And I'm not going to say that there would never be a war if these companies didn't exist. I'm not that naive.
There could be a lot
there could
less
be periods of peace.
Yeah.
But, they got to make their money somehow, and God bless them.
Who's to blame here? It's probably just money itself and our strange obsession with it.
Yeah, greed.
Yeah.
Maybe insecurity is really what's to blame. Because a lot of people like to quote greed and like desire for money.
Yeah.
But I mean, why do you want money?
Because you're insecure.
Because you're trying to fill that gap, whatever it might be.
Well, I think maybe that's why we need to subsidize small farms then, because then people will be busy doing stuff. They'll be, occupied growing vegetables and keeping their livestock in versus trying to hoard goods so they can go on a vacation somewhere.
Yeah, but the thing is, those people still exist. Like the people that want to be Jeff Bezos or Larry Fink or all these people that are like at the top of this money world, they still exist.
Well, it's okay. They can exist and do their thing, but if we like, if the overarching, the majority of the populace, the whatever 51%, is more interested in a down to earth lifestyle, then things would be all good. And I think that actually would be very achievable if the government, instead of listening to lobbyists from gun companies to promote more wars, listen to lobbyists from small farming communities to subsidize the production of whatever organically grown food.
Do you think that many
25-acre
people
plot.
want to farm?
Yeah, totally.
Really?
Totally.
Why don't they?
Because it's not worth it now. It's too hard of a living. It's like
I feel like
you break your
the
back
minority of people garden.
Well, that's farming.
Yeah, and I'm saying like a small amount of them do. It looks like a lot when you're here in
no,
Eugene in the
I
Northwest.
think even gardening still, like gardening, even on a small scale, like a couple raised beds in your front yard, that's farming. Because like to do that well, it takes time, and you gotta spend your time making money in today's age to do whatever it is, to exist, live at all.
Yeah.
So like the incentive is way higher to not worry about your small garden, not worry about your small farm, and just clock in at whatever company and get as much money as you can, so you can just go to the grocery store and buy food.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. But if there was like a huge tax credit or like a solid subsidy for a small farm, almost as if it was like a automatic nonprofit, like if you were like signed up to farm 5 acres and were given $40,000 a year to do that, like I think quite a few people are, oh hell yeah, like
Yeah, I think a lot of
go
people
chill in the country and like grow some veggies, and that's pretty easy going. It's fun too.
I think a lot of people would around here. I think we're falling into like a location bias where we think that most people act like this, but I grew up in Miami, dude, in South Florida. Those people don't want to fucking farm, bro.
Yeah.
Or like, think about how many people are in New York right now.
Well, I think the desire to not farm is the money, is the because like right now it's sold as like a very hard living. It's hard work. You don't make a lot of money, and so why farm? I think that's the narrative around it is the wrong narrative. Like, so if the narrative were to change, like, oh hey, go farm, it's an easy paycheck, and you'll do some good, people would be like, all right, like, hell yeah, a little bit of space, a little freedom.
I think, all right, how about we do this? We can put this to the test, and we can make a poll.
Let's pull it.
I think we can make a post about it on social media.
Yeah, I mean,
we can gather information, but even then, that's a biased sample size, right? Because
like, it might be small and biased within our peers, but who knows? This could go gangbusters. This could be a big deal.
I think there's a possibility for one of us to make a post, and then we can actually spend some money to advertise, to spread that post around the country. And I'm thinking $20 might get us a few thousand views.
Yeah.
Which maybe gets us a few hundred opinions.
Yeah. I'm kind of into that. I almost think it should be set up in a situation where it's like, would you rather be paid $40,000 a year, or let's say $60,000 a year to adjust for inflation, to live in town and work in a cubicle by the government, or by a corporation, or would you rather be paid $60,000 a year to live on 5 acres and grow vegetables?
Okay, I would push back on the cubicle thing. Because
Well, but that's what that is. That's what city living is. And,
there's a lot of people that don't work cubicle jobs.
well, not necessarily a cubicle, but whether you're a clerk or you're a salesman
office.
or
Let's
like
just call it office.
office, like you're in a space.
Mhm.
Like you have to, report and clock in at a building, at a desk, at a.
Or wake up at the crack of dawn and do some farming.
Well, that's also a misnomer though, because like you don't have to wake up at 5:30 as a farmer. Like often you do because it's nice, and like when you adjust to it, you're like, oh, it's a beautiful time of day.
Yeah.
But like I farmed for years, and I usually get up at like 8 o'clock.
Okay, so then I think we should make a video where the both of us make our case. And we say, I'll just advocate for city living. You advocate for farm living. And then we say, case. And then we have a poll at the bottom where they could choose one, the other, or neither.
Yeah, $60,000, live in town, work at some job, have a yard, have a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house, and a half acre.
Quarter
or
acre.
Quarter acre. Okay, that's probably more realistic.
And then
Or to have a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house.
on a 5 acre
5
lot.
acre lot.
Where are you living in this situation?
The 5 acre lot, I don't feel like it would be fair to make all the farms desolate.
What's the the climate?
5 acre lot and 30 minutes within like a mid-sized to major population center.
Okay, and then what's the climate? More or less what region of the United States, climate-wise, not culture-wise.
Oh, I feel like that should be left open, like kind of nationwide.
So as positive as you want it to be, really. And then
Yeah.
city living, how big of a city are you living in?
I would also leave that open anywhere from town to city.
Okay. For the
It's like-
cubicle job?
Yeah, I mean,
Or the
I'm kind
option.
of bunching cubicle and like clerk and some
Yeah.
normal.
Clerks. Jesus, how many clerks are there?
This-
Packing clerks.
Well, there's quite a few like gas station clerks, and grocery store
That's true.
clerks.
Those are called clerks. I always call them cashiers.
Oh, I guess. Maybe I'm bunching them into a little bit of a group.
A hoe. All right.
Yeah.
So then, guys, I think it's time you sound off in the comments. You'll probably have seen that post at some point soon. And let us know what you think. Spread it to your friends. Send it to 10 of your friends. If you send it to 10 of your friends and they send it to 10 of their friends, that's 100 people right there.
Yeah,
And
that
if
could,
they send it to
that could
10 of
take
their
off.
friends, it's 1,000 people.
and then more math beyond that. and
Yeah.
More
yeah,
people.
Yeah. I think it's time for us to call it, dude.
Time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Family's getting passed out. It's about what I need to do.
Should we do something to sign off?
Like a bow.